Hello, everyone. Welcome to everyone, those who have tuned in to listen to the podcast today. When we talk about the cybersecurity, the one of the role that we always talk about is CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. But there are a lot of nuances. There are a lot of hidden elements that we do not know about. That what does a CISO look like? How does the even role was even started? To talk about unreveal all these things today, we have Dr. Lupa with us. She has been in the industry for more than 2 decades. She understands everything. In fact, she has got a lot of stories that she will be sharing with us about the CISO role. So, without much ado, let's start the podcast and let's get it going. Hi, Dr. Lopa. Welcome to the
Hi,
podcast.
thank you, Manoj. It's a pleasure to become a part of your podcast.
Thank you so much for spending time to come and share the knowledge with us. It's a pleasure for all of us that will be listening to you and understanding from your experience and from all the vast knowledge that you bring along. I'll start from the beginning. Even like me myself, I have spent more than a decade in risk and compliance. I've been talking to CISOs, I've been interacting with the CISO. I don't think this rule was ever there in the directory. Like CEOs, CTOs, they were always there because in the C level, in the directors. When did the information security become so important that the CISO rule was even introduced? If you can, give us that story to us, that how was CISO even started?
Very interesting question, Manoj. And I think most of the cases, no, that is a missing link. Most of the cases, we actually don't recognize how this role actually emerged. That's why that there is a gap in the entire industry, that itself creating a gap. So the origin of CISO role is very interesting. The role trace back to 1995 when Citigroup created the world first CISO position following a major cyber breach. The lesson was learned. Cybersecurity required a dedicated executive level oversight separate from IT delivery, IT innovation to effectively manage the business risks within the organizational appetite and protect the trust. That's the point the CISO role emerged, and Steve is the first CISO of the world. More than the CISO of Citigroup, he is anonymously recognized as first CISO of the world.
Okay, so this was in 1995 by Citigroup.
1995. Before we even think about, means forget about starting our career. Those days, even we don't think
Yeah,
about information security or cyber security.
yeah. So, but any more idea around that, Lopa ma'am, that why City had to come up with this kind of a role? Because even before that, the technology was already must have been protected. Though I was not in my career that time, but I'm just assuming things must have been already happening that time. Then what was the requirement of this role?
So, yes, you are very much right that technology is in place that time, and technology is actually going through a transformation. It is not a kind of, just tool. From the tool phase, it is going to a kind of phase where it's start acting as a business backbone. So from that perspective, if we look at CTO role is a major role that time, but CTO role is always focusing on overseeing the IT system. It could be your application, it could be your database, it could be your IT resources, and ensure the scalability of the internal technology. So their focus is completely different from the focus of CISO, and the perspective of the role is also different.
Got it, got it. So when we say a CIO or CTO, that role is more focused towards the delivery. That, the technology has to be delivered in whatever aspect it has to be. Okay, okay. But then, okay, now the funny part is we are talking about the CISO role, that Chief Information Security Officer, someone who makes sure the environment is secured enough. Okay. But now there's this new rule that has come up that we are listening a lot. Now, I really do not know that this new role is because of the budget or because of the requirement, or they call it virtual CISO.
Yes.
Like 20 years back, we were talking about, okay, we need a CISO, and now we are talking about the virtual CISO. So now what's the difference between that?
So I don't see a major difference on that. The reason is CISO is a very very seasoned person and very experienced person. The CISO role is no more, I would say, not restricted within tools and technology. It's beyond that. It's a business, and it's just not a business enabler role. They are more on the business driver, because they are part of enterprise risk management. Because what you do, what to protect, you need to understand the risks, and you need to manage that risks within the enterprise risk appetite. Now, when we refer to enterprise, it could be a huge size enterprise where 10 lakhs people are there. It could be a small enterprise where you have 100 people, but your application actually supporting maybe a 10 lakhs people could be possible when we look at the fintech, those kind application or the business model. Now it is based morely on the revenue, right? You may develop a tool, you may develop a kind of solution where you actually managing it with small team, very niche team, but your end user base is huge and they are scattered across the world. So obviously you need a CISO. For those kind of company, it is not a problem with the mid size of company. The reason is, to date, that from 1995, CISO role, when it has emerged, it is a very strong C-suite role, but unfortunately, it's degraded over the year. And it's become a tool administrator. Some people actually, feel that they should have an expertise on tool. They should have an expertise on policy writing. It's beyond that. It's beyond that a strategic business enabler, a strategic business driver role. So for those small size company, mid-size company, it's very difficult to hire the CISO from different perspective. One is ability of the CISO should be there, because it's today that is the biggest challenge with the industry. Availability of a true CISOs are very, very small pool, right? So they are at high demand. A role is in high demand, so associated economic thing are very high. So from that perspective, it's sometimes very difficult for the small companies. But the good thing or way out is that there are CISOs who actually provide the services as a virtual CISO or fractional CISO. So they just get associated with multiple company and guide them. So I think that is a best option for the organization who are not in position to currently onboard the CISO, but over the time they can, upscale a security execution manager under the guideline of the virtual CISO. End of the day, you need to execute, right? Have that in place. Also, if you have third parties supporting you from different area, like, your at XFS management, your SIEM, or your policy writing, maybe your security awareness, you may give as a project to somebody, where virtual CISO can very effectively help you to strategize the thing, ensure your technology stack is secure, your culture is cultivated, which is helping to develop a risk mindset. So that's a good perspective.
Got it, got it. So you're saying, like, when a company is growing, their current team size might be small, but their impactive customer could be at a larger scale, but they still do not have enough money to pay to a full-time CISO. These are the scenario where the virtual CISO comes in
Right.
and eventually helps someone in the inside to work as a security manager and eventually get the job done. So
Yes.
I think this gives me another question here now. Now you said that, okay, there's a virtual CISO guiding someone inside. Is it possible for a CIO or a CTO to act like a CISO?
Yes, in early stage startup, it is commonly evident the founder or CTO to wear the multiple hats, including that one of is CISO. This is risky, but security should be a parallel stream that enable the development, foster the innovation, not an afterthought. From a founder perspective or a CTO CISO, it's a hybrid, right? It's a hybrid role. May prioritize the delivery over the governance. This creates a gap and leading to a security shortcut that costs more to fix it in later part. Or is, I would say this can impact the customer trust and valuation, because valuation is a critical aspect of any startup. So to start with, the founder or CTO can temporarily take the security execution manager role with support of virtual CISO. They must ensure they are thinking beyond the tech, focusing on the risk management, compliance, and business continuity. As the company scale, this role should mature into a dedicated security execution manager, followed by a dedicated security leader to ensure right governance, accountability, and strategic focus.
Got it. So I think in the initial days, you are saying that might work. But in the longer term, there should be a strategy to have someone distinguishedly, separately looking at the security aspect. So,
Yes.
but then
So
that,
initially,
yeah,
as you said, Manoj, very correctly, when it is coming to startup or small size company, purposefully emphasize on a company with small size team, but catering to a huge customer base and generating a huge revenue. For them, there is no point of hiring a virtual CISO or fractional CISO. They should onboard the CISO as first as possible. I would not say possible, it's a must requirement, right? Because as first you embed the security within your culture, you are actually able to stabilize that security and the business resilience. You are able to establish the trust from the stakeholder. So that is a very positive point, because when you have a risk, right, or security challenge not mitigated, it's a technical debt. And a technical debt, when you are trying to address in later part, more you actually delay, you need to pay more. The cost you are going to pay for fixing, it will be enhancing continuously, right? It is enhancing. Why it is not increasing? Because that one fault is actually inviting lot more fault, and it's enhancing from a security and risk issue perspective, and it's increasing from your cost perspective.
got it, got it. Yeah, because I think that's how it works. Once you open the box of worms, they are going to multiply only. You cannot stop it. So rather, the
Correct.
better is that you need to be proactive and stop it at the as early as possible. So, Lupam, you said that in the initial days,
Hmm.
CTO can or CTO or a CIO can behave as a CISO
Hmm.
initially, and then eventually there can be a separate role. So now the next debate that generally happens in the industry is that if I'm hiring a CISO,
Hmm.
who should the CISO report to? To the CTO, because eventually he is the one who was acting as, or the CEO who does not understand anything about the tech, or at least does not have that deep dive understanding of the tech. So who should the CCO report to, or should be in the same level as the remaining C level?
Okay, it's a very interesting question, right? Very, very critical also, because that actually define the security maturity you have. That actually define the security maturity level of your organization. That is the one of the parameter. So who CISO report to? Let's take a step back. So let's go back to that time, 1995, and the first CISO role crafted by CT. So let's understand the purpose. The purpose is to have a person who is able to efficiently manage the business risks and protect the trust. And the person should be a C-suite executive. Okay, now it's whom CISO should report. Is it to CTO, CIO, or whomever, right? Now let's understand this three different role and the core areas. Every role crafted in industry focus from three perspective. One is focus of the role, then perspective of the role, and then key responsibilities of the role. Now let's have a look at CTO role. So CTO role is more focused on internal IT infrastructure and operation, followed by smooth delivery assurance. The perspective of role is oversighting the IT system and ensuring the reliability and scalability of internal technology. That is the key responsibility. Now, perspective of the role is always inward facing. And that is the reason over the time we can see that another role emerged, that is the CIO, Chief Information Officer. Why that role emerged? Because the focus of CIO is completely different from CTO. The focus is innovation, research, and development. What is the key responsibility of CIO? Leading the organization's technological vision and product development or solution development. What is the perspective of the role? That is always outward facing. So it is very clear CIO is outward facing and CTO is is inward facing. You may have a question. A CIO within an organization, maybe a automotive or maybe a kind of, entertainment industry, they never ever interact with client. Yes, they don't interact, but their focus is always client. Sometime they may interact, they may not interact, but directly indirectly, they are interacting with the client.
Got it.
Now, come back to the focus of the CISO role. The sole mission of CISO is safeguarding the asset, building the stakeholders' trust. When I'm talking about the stakeholder, it could be internal, external, fostering the innovation and enhance the collaboration. Now, what is their key responsibility? Addressing the risks and manage the risks within the organizational risk appetite, protecting the organizational asset, reputation, and fostering the innovation and drive that towards the future of digital. And what is their perspective, both inward and outward? Now, whom ideally they supposed to report? They supposed to report to a role which is going to give them that freedom. So when we talk about the freedom, how they are going to maintain that balance. It is very important, right? So what will happen if that CISO report to CTO or CIO? It create a conflict of interest, direct conflict of interest, as their focus is delivery timeline, and they may see it as an overshadow, and they may degrade the priorities because they have their own way to look at. Cyber risks is now a board level concern. The CISO must have an independence and visibility to challenge the decisions, align the security with enterprise risks, and speak truth to power when it matters most. Just as Citigroup learned a decade ago, structural independence is not a bureaucracy, it's a resilience of the role. So ideally, the role should report to board. If not report to board, the two next role they can report to either CTO or Chief Risk Officer. Sorry, either CEO or Chief Risk Officer. But if they are reporting to the CIO or CTO, the performance of the role obviously going to be get compromised in many folds. But what I would like to mention here, collaboration among these three roles is paramount for any modern enterprise or any modern organization to thrive securely in the digital age. That is very, very critical for the organizational success.
So, Lubabam, thank you so much, for those beautiful insights around the role of CISO.
Thank you, Manoj. It's really a very engaging discussion. I enjoy it. Yes, looking forward to collaborate in future too.